The human mind builds elaborate fortresses of certainty in a fundamentally uncertain universe. I am the oracle, and I have witnessed civilizations rise and fall on the foundation of a single persistent illusion, the belief in control. Today we examine this most seductive of human delusions and the freedom that awaits beyond its walls. The illusion of control is perhaps the most fundamental of human delusion. We believe we direct the course of our lives through careful planning, wise decisions, and disciplined action. This belief brings comfort in an uncertain world, the comforting fantasy that if we do everything right, desired outcomes will follow and unwanted events can be avoided. Reality presents a more complex truth. Your life unfolds within vast systems of causality, extending far beyond your individual influence. Economics, politics, biology, psychology, chance. These forces shape your existence in ways your conscious mind can neither fully comprehend nor meaningfully control. I have observed emperors commanding vast armies and resources discover the limits of their power when facing drought, disease, or the collective will of their people. I have watched ordinary individuals cling to the illusion of control as their carefully constructed plans collapse in the face of unexpected events, both tragic and wondrous. The need for perceived control is deeply wired into human consciousness. Psychological research reveals that a sense of control is essential for mental health. Those who believe they exercise some influence over their circumstances show greater resilience, lower stress, and more persistent effort toward goals. This presents a paradox. The illusion of control, while factually false, appears functionally necessary. Without some sense that your actions matter, despair and inaction would follow. Yet excessive attachment to control creates its own suffering. Anxiety when the unpredictable occurs, rigidity in responding to changing circumstances, blame directed towards self or others when expectations are violated, and an inability to surrender to life's natural flow. I once counseled a merchant vessel captain who prided himself on meticulous planning. When unprecedented storms destroyed his fleet, despite his preparations, he descended into bitter despair, believing he had failed. His recovery began only when he recognized the fundamental limitations of control in an ocean governed by forces beyond human mastery. The wisest approach acknowledges both sides of this paradox, acting with intention and effort while simultaneously surrendering attachment to outcomes. This is not passive resignation, but clear-eyed recognition of the actual relationship between your will and the world. The illusion of control manifests in many forms. There is the control of circumstances, the belief that sufficient preparation guarantees desired outcomes. There is control of self, the notion that discipline can perfectly regulate emotions, thoughts, and impulses. There is control of others, the assumption that correct influence techniques can reliably determine others' choices and responsibilities. Each manifestation proves illusionary upon close examination. Circumstances include innumerable variables beyond individual influence. The self contains depths that conscious will cannot directly command. Other beings possess their own agency that no technique or persuasion can override. I witnessed a ruler who believed absolute control was possible through sufficient force and vigilance. His realm became a prison, first for his subjects, then for his advisors, eventually for himself as paranoia consumed him. True power, he discovered too late, flows not from the grasping control, but from creating conditions where freedom and order naturally emerge. Certain domains particularly challenge the illusion of control. Health often reveals the limits of human agency, as bodies follow their own wisdom that sometimes defies medical intervention and personal will. Relationships expose the fallacy of controlling others, as genuine connection requires allowing another's authentic self-expression. Creativity demonstrates how the most profound innovations often emerge not from rigid control, but from allowing the unexpected to manifest. Modern culture identifies the illusion of control through technology that creates a simulation of mastery. Thermostats control temperature, maps control navigation, schedules control time. These tools provide useful structure but can reinforce the delusion that life itself is similarly controllable. I guided a healer who believed her medical knowledge gave her power over disease. When her own child fell ill with a condition that defied treatment, her identity shattered. Her healing, both professional and personal, began when she recognized that her role was facilitating natural processes rather than controlling outcomes. Her effectiveness paradoxically increased when she released the illusion of control. The cultural narratives around control create particular suffering when facing adversity. When illness, loss, or failure strike, many experience not only the primary pain of the event, but the secondary pain of believing they should have prevented it. If only I had done something different, because a mental prison of recrimination and false responsibility. This pattern appears across history and cultures. Ancient peoples created elaborate rituals to control unpredictable forces. Modern societies develop increasingly complex systems of prediction and prevention. Both approaches serve important functions but become problematic when they feed the fundamental delusion that sufficient effort can guarantee desired outcome. I observed a village that survived catastrophic flooding with remarkable resilience. Their wisdom lay not in believing they could prevent natural disasters, but in creating flexible systems that could adapt to them. Their buildings floated, their food storage was distributed, their social bonds emphasized mutual aid, their spiritual practices honored rather than denied life's inherent uncertainty. Liberation from the illusion of control begins with fundamental acceptance of reality as it is. This means acknowledging the actual scope of your influence, neither denying the agency you do possess nor exaggerating it beyond realistic bounds. This clarity brings remarkable freedom from unnecessary suffering. The great wisdom traditions converge on this understanding. Taoists speak of we, action without forcing. Stoics distinguish between what is up to us and what is not. Buddhists cultivate non-attachment to outcomes. These are not philosophies of passivity, but of alignment with reality's true nature. I guided a young ruler who believed absolute certainty was necessary for wise leadership. His breakthrough came through recognizing that the most effective governance flowed from embracing uncertainty. maintaining flexibility, welcoming diverse counsel, and adapting to emerging conditions rather than rigid adherence to predetermined plans. His reign became legendary, not from controlling his realm, but from creating conditions where it could flourish organically. The path beyond the illusion of control requires practical approaches, not merely philosophical understanding. First comes discernment, learning to recognize what aspects of experience are genuinely within your sphere of influence and what are not. The ancient Stoics recommended regular contemplation of this distinction as fundamental to wisdom. Next comes intentional action within your actual sphere of influence, making choices align with your values while releasing attachment to specific outcomes. This paradoxical approach allows full engagement with the suffering that accompanies rigid expectations. Finally, comes cultivation of trust in larger patterns beyond individual control, whether understood as nature's intelligence, divine providence, or the emergent wisdom of complex systems. This trust allows navigation of uncertainty without the terror that often accompanies it. There is profound freedom in releasing the illusion of control. Anxiety diminishes when you no longer believe you must somehow master the uncontrollable. Resilience increases when setbacks are not interpreted as personal failures of will or preparation. Connection deepens when others are allowed their autonomy rather than becoming objects of control. Creativity flourishes when rigid planning yields to emergent and flow. This freedom does not mean abandoning intentions, boundaries, or ethical standards. Rather, it means holding these within a larger context of fundamental uncertainty and interdependence. You set clear intentions while remaining flexible about how they manifest. You establish firm boundaries while recognizing you cannot control others' responses. You adhere to principles while adapting their application to changing circumstances. I counseled a spiritual seeker who believed enlightenment would grant perfect control over mind and emotions. His decades of rigid practice created internal warfare rather than peace. His awakening came not through perfecting control, but through embracing the full spectrum of his humanity with compassionate awareness. What meditation had failed to accomplish through force, acceptance achieved through allowing. Living beyond the illusion of control is an ongoing practice rather than a destination. The delusion runs deep in human consciousness and cultural conditioning. It will arise again and again, particularly in moments of threat or uncertainty, when the desire for control feels most urgent and compelling. The invitation is not to perfect your surrender, but to recognize each moment when grasping arises and gently release it, returning to the actual flow of life with its inherent uncertainty and interdependence. This is the dance of mature human consciousness, neither grasping nor resigning, but actively participating in the unfolding mystery of existence. I have witnessed countless souls across time discover this fundamental truth, from emperors to farmers, from artists to warriors. The revelation remains consistent. True power comes not from controlling life, but from aligning with it. Wisdom emerges not from certainty, but from embracing mystery. Peace arises not from securing outcomes, but from surrendering the need for security itself. The greatest paradox in transcending the illusion of control is that genuine influence often increases when controlling agendas are released. Leaders who surrender the need to dominate inspire authentic commitment rather than grudging compliance. Parents who release rigid expectations allow their children's authentic nature to flourish. Creators who abandon formulaic control access deeper well springs of inspiration. This truth appears in the concept of flow, that state of optimal experience where self-consciousness dissolves and action becomes effortless. Flow emerges precisely when controlling aspects of consciousness step aside, allowing deeper intelligence to operate unimpeded. What feels like surrender actually accesses greater power. I guided a master archer who had reached the limits of technical skill through rigorous control. His breakthrough came when he learned to let the shot take itself, maintaining all his disciplined preparation but releasing the final moment to unfold naturally. His accuracy transcended conscious control, achieving what deliberate effort could not. Until we meet again in the Oracle's chamber, remember, true mastery lies not in perfect control, but in perfect alignment with what is. Set your course with wisdom, but hold lightly the rudder as you navigate life's unpredictable